Gelmorra, the ancient civilization that led to the formation and construction of the city-state Gridania. Today, not much is known about Gelmorra, despite it playing such a pivotal role in Gridania's history. Even her flag features the Gelmorran symbol of Hyuran-Elezen peace. But evidence seems to indicate that 1.0 was intended to reveal more, if not the full history of Gelmorra. Throughout the Black Shroud, dungeons of Gelmorran origin would exist, as well as the famous Gelmorran ruin in the North Shroud. Lore-wise, these were never expanded upon in 1.0 or A Realm Reborn. We know about the Montai Cellars, Tamtara and Totarak and their respective functions in Gelmorran society, and these all survived the calamity, but that's where most of the known Gelmorran history stops. In 1.0, more structures were hidden, just waiting for the go signal that never came. So far in this series, we've encountered 2 Gelmorran dungeons in the Black Shroud, Peace Garden and Knight's Round. Peace Garden seemingly being another brewing cellar similar to the Montai, and Knight's Round revealing some never-before-seen Gelmorran technology. Once again, we turn our gaze towards the Black Shroud, and to the southernmost part of East Shroud, southwest of Hawthorne Hut. Here lies the entrance to, as far as I'm aware, a dungeon that has never before been documented. Whoever was standing guard here is a complete mystery to me. I couldn't find any footage from this area showing the name of the guard. I don't know if there even was one. The doors are similar to other doors in the Shroud with their own little twist. The doors have small barred windows in them, with cast iron details similar to what you'd expect from a Gelmorran settlement. Walking inside, I'm surprised to find that the staircase goes almost entirely straight down. Usually dungeons in the Shroud spiral downwards until you hit the first floor. At the bottom of the stairs, we enter the usual room with 4 pillars, a staple of Gelmorran design. However, one thing strikes me right off the bat. This dungeon seems to be older somehow. It's way more dilapidated and ruined than the other dungeons we've explored so far. Usually, cave-ins of this magnitude wouldn't really appear until reaching the lower floors, but here we're instantly presented with destruction. There's also only one path available to me, to the left. Walking down another set of stairs leads to this door lit by a lone torch. The door is locked and there's nothing on the other side, but behind me, another opening beckons. A long corridor opens up in front of me. A room to my immediate right contains a desk and a stool with what appears to be Gelmorran artwork carved into them. Naturally, there's also wine bottles and jars of what I can only presume to be fermented beans on the shelves and in the cupboards. As I exit the room, I notice these pretty purple glowing things later used in Totarak. I'm going to assume that these will show the way. I will, as usual, opt for the most linear route, avoiding most side rooms, so we don't end up just seeing the same stuff over and over again. This is 1.0 after all. I enter another round room. The glowing purple things dance happily around a few trees growing to the left of the room, next to one of the 2 closed doors here. I feel like I have to go back here later, so I note down my coordinates and continue straight ahead through the opening, leading into a large open corridor. Gelmorra is a fascinating phenomenon in Eorzean history, simply because we know so little about it, and here we are in a dungeon that perhaps was meant to tell us more about life underground. As I enter another round room, I spot it. The mechanical device, again with a strange plate with Eorzean letters written on it. This machine has occupied my mind a lot after we first discovered them in the Knight's Round, and I think I'm starting to at least understand what the plate is supposed to do. Notice that the letters are oddly spaced, and it appears to be 2 different lines. The way the R is displayed, with it being slightly cut off to the left and having the long space between it and the E, suggests that it might just be the end of a word that started further to the left. This whole plate might have been supposed to spin when activated, revealing whatever it was meant to spell, if anything. We must also not forget that this might have just been gibberish, never actually meant to be read out as anything at all, hence the poor texture quality, but once again we may never know. Still very cool looking device, and so far the only known evidence of Gelmorran mechanical technology. It's tempting to enter the door the device is keeping locked, but my mission is to follow the linear path, so I will carry on ahead. I pass more purple glowflies and these massive trees, similar to the ones found in Todorak today. I find myself at a crossroad with a familiar looking torch. Now the glowflies seem to be mostly on the left side of the trees, so I pick that path and move forward, until I reach a room filled with what looks like weapon crates. Now that's intriguing, because as far as we know, Gelmorra was never at war with anyone. As I move forward, the whole dungeon seems to change design. Gone are the curving corridors, the messy round rooms. Instead, square, sharp rooms in almost perfect lines on all sides greet me. It's almost like walking into a different place, a different dungeon. So many rooms. Some seem to contain more weapon racks and crates, while others seem to contain cupboards and desks. I'm tempted to enter all of them, but I must stay strong. This is a dangerous place. If I lose track of where I am, I'll have to start over again, or I'll end up walking in circles. Another Gelmorran device next to a locked door at the end. Weapon boxes, weapon racks. What on earth went on here? After walking what I thought was the linear path, I realized that I'm actually zigzagging between the rooms I saw earlier. Eventually, I end up in front of a door with a Gelmorran device, eagerly awaiting input from an adventurer that will never come. This is the end of the line, so I pass through the door. The room that greets me is a surprisingly tidy room, hardly any damage, which so far is surprisingly rare considering the state of the rest of the dungeon. In the middle, what I can only assume are war supplies. Again, war supplies in Gelmorra? Why on earth would they stock up on these? They made peace and lived together in that peace for centuries. Wait, the sigils. The Gelmorran sigils. I've walked around for hours and I've yet to see a single Gelmorran symbol or sigil. In every other dungeon in the Black Shroud, these sigils could be found everywhere, but not here. Could this be the first pre-Gelmorran settlement, the one that started the Hyuran-Elezen War of 710? It's starting to make sense. The damage, the apparent age of the place, the war supplies, the lack of sigils, the feeling of passing between two different areas. My mind immediately jumps to the two doors I left behind at the very start of our expedition. I run back. If this is what I think it is, this might be an incredible discovery, one of the most important Gelmorran findings in 1.0 and subsequently a Realm Reborn history. Back in the first room, I enter the first door I ever looked at when I came to this dungeon. It's like all my name days have come at once. A gigantic room filled with training dummies greets me. Near the walls are targets for archers to practice their aim. Replacement targets stored on the side. And once again, no Gelmorran sigils. I run back to the first room and burst through the other door, and I am not disappointed. Sandbags, war supplies, weapon racks, and even more targets. The Gelmorrans weren't preparing for war because the Gelmorrans didn't exist yet. The lack of sigils is obvious now. This has to be ground zero for the Hyuran-Elezen War of 710. This is in many ways where Gelmorra was born. The large room connects to a hallway with a door locked by another Gelmorran device. Passing through, I find room after room filled with war materials as well as training equipment, such as targets and dummies. For anyone remotely interested in Gelmorran history, this is a lot to take in, but I'm now more or less convinced. It is unknown whether the original settlement was abandoned or integrated into Gelmorra proper, but it would make sense that it would function as a temporary settlement at the very least until the work on Gelmorra had made enough headway for the Gelmorrans to actually settle there. So these dusty, abandoned caves might have been meant to tell the story of the creation of Gelmorra, a 30-year war that ended with one of the greatest achievements of the 6th Astral Era. A lasting peace between the Elezen and Hyur, a massive underground city-state, peace between the Eorzeans and the Elementals, and the construction of Gridania. Now let's hope that's a story we get to learn more about in the future. thank you for watching this episode of Secrets of Our Realm. I hope you enjoyed your time here. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more. I'll be back next month with another episode of Secrets of Our Realm. Until then, may you ever walk in the light of the crystal.